So I'm watching this Netflix movie called Cora Bora, and it's in brief a woman's journey really becoming undone, and the seemingly poor choices she's making along the way of her life and the calamity that ensues. Then it leads to the story of how she arrived at this particular way of being. And there's grief there. And maybe this is a spoiler alert, so let me just say that. But she comes across something that begins to evoke in her emotion. And it's the emotion of loss. It's the emotion behind her poor choices and the decisions that she made along the way that, again, opened the door for calamity and just chaos and a life not well lived, let's say. Something that happens when we, for whatever reason, find ourselves making poor choices back to back to back because maybe we're running from something. So she comes across something and she's facing this grief. And I said to myself, we have to face it. Whatever the it is, we're called to face it in order to free ourselves to the moment, in order to be present with the truth of our lives. Because when we do not face the thing, a diagnosis, a death, a disruption, it has a strong hold over us. And it's easy to sink in this unconscious way of being, an unconscious way of living our lives, because we're doing so from a place of not having faced what needs to be faced. And so maybe we're angry, or we become destructive. Maybe there are some addictions. Whatever the manifestation, it happens when we do not turn toward and face, even when it's hard and devastating, even when we fear it because we don't know of it, because of the great unknown. Even if it still requires that we enter in if we truly want to be free. Robert Frost is known for having said, the only way around is through. The only way around is through. We have to go through the front door and enter through the rooms along the way of the walk until we get to the back, right, to the other side. We can't go around, we can't bypass. We are called to face what is in front of us. Not that it's easy, not that we want to, but what happens and what becomes when we do not. What comes of resistance. And this doesn't mean that resistance doesn't have a purpose, because there are inequities, there are a whole lot of things where, yes, we need to be on the side of, resist. And that resistance is different. It's less a resistance and it's more of an advocacy, a voice, right? But when there is something like a diagnosis or a death, a disruption, a divorce, a change, an amputation, a loss of some kind, we're called to turn toward it. because that's how we learn what is, how to be with it, how to adapt what's needed. We learn how to see it clearly and work with it because it is there and needs to be worked with. It is not leaving. Just because I do not turn toward and acknowledge does not mean it goes away. It doesn't mean it isn't there. It is there. I am simply choosing not to look. And then there are consequences as a result of my decision to not turn and look. There are consequences. Delays create delays that create a suffering. So as I'm watching this movie, it's sort of an independent style. I'm thinking about the grief that we carry and how when we choose not to turn and look and investigate it and cry and break and see it and hold it and reminisce and give it thought, when we choose to not do that because we for whatever the reason, we're not there yet, then we have to know that our lives will reflect what happens when we're not somewhere yet and we're making decisions. And so I'm just thinking, we need to turn toward it. We have to face the thing that beckons us, the thing in front of us, the thing that is true and real and real and true. We have to turn and give it its due so that we suffer less and we live more in the fullness of the abundance. We live more in the light and in the spaciousness of having faced it. You know, the boogeyman exists in the dark. But when we turn the light on, we see clearly that there is nothing there that we cannot be with. But if we keep always the light off and dwell there in the dark, then we can only feel the haunting. May we turn the light on and be with that which is in front of us and learn from it so that we may reconcile and we can fully integrate. We can be with the existential and grow in connection with it. Not that it's easy. This isn't about easy. It's about a spacious life from the inside out. It's about freedom and suffering less. It's about seeing clearly and not abandoning ourselves in the moment where it becomes dark and deep and heavy and murky. But that we can walk alongside the changes, the losses, the devastations, disruptions, divorces, little losses along the way. May we not abandon whatever truth is before us, but may we find a path to hold it and ask of it, inquire, investigate, so that we might be free. I'm appreciating this movie because it brought me to this moment of thinking on the truth of turning toward and the presence required of us to do it and the practice of doing it. Yeah, I'm grateful for all of the openings that come along the way. And I'm grateful and appreciative of you walking along the way of the path with me. Yeah, thank you. You just keep coming back around. May you be held, and may you hold another. May you turn toward and face and see just how freeing and spacious it is, and how much love exists there when you face it. The vulnerability, the compassion, the fullness. We deserve the fullness of ourselves and our life experience. May we practice accessing it, even in the hard moments, in the sad moments, in the painful, devastating moments where we sink, where the footing doesn't seem to be felt below us, where the ground seems to disappear. May we know that it still is there, waiting at the ready for us to look and see, to ask and to hold. I want that for us. Well, I want it for you if you want it for yourself. And I want it for myself. Thank you. And as always, I hope you choose to come back around and spend more time with me. I do.